Let's see.
Shabbos Haben Aliyah. Your uncle's yard site? What's your uncle's name? Okay. What's the name?
Long name or short name? You had someone with a long name.
Okay. My uncle Marta from my mother's side. Yard site. Never had children. Okay. Okay, where are we up to? Libon, right? We did Libon. Okay, so now the Gemara. Yeah, so we said yesterday. Tonight is all about Shinui, right? Whether Shinui is kinda or not. Meaning what we started in the Mishnah. If a guy steals something, hard to understand, very hard to understand philosophically. But if a guy steals something, right, and he improves it, he gets to keep the improvement because he was kinda, the improvement's kinda then, and he gets to keep it, right? So, okay, well, so we'll see. So we said
he still has to pay kefil or anything.
He'll have to pay if he admits he doesn't have to pay kefil.
Okay, but he has to pay. Okay.
He admits, so he steals a guy. You can steal a guy's cow, right?
Okay.
And get it pregnant. Get it pregnant. have the cow have a baby. Keep the baby and get back the cow. Hallelujah. To Kamma.
And the Mishnah is talking about Hagoizel to get out of that problem. Talking about Gzela, not Gneva.
I mean, talking about to get out of the kefil.
Kefil, there's no external issues. It's just whether he's kind of it or not. That's it.
Yeah, like a guy. We're starting with the Super Bowl shilas now. Can a guy buy a projector for the Super Bowl and return it after the Super Bowl to Amazon? Right. These are this week's shilas. So I gave him my standard. You're
not going to get.
Can't say it's us, but it's your first step to becoming a crook. Right?
Good thing Naftali's not on.
I did it once and I never became a crook.
You did it once, you never became a crook, but you stopped.
I did it once when I was in yeshiva in Florida.
Good, so Baruch Hashem, but you stopped. You did like the Shari Tshuva says. You had charota, right?
He didn't say charota.
I don't know. I just didn't do it again. I don't know.
Okay, so Baruch Hashem. So you didn't do. This is not okay. It's hard to say that it's awesome, but it's. Hey, why is it different than this guy?
First, somebody does that. It's the first stop in becoming a paid tzaddik, really, more than.
All right. I mean, you could say all of the above, right? You could say all of the above, right? You should tell the guy, like, before you do this, just also make sure that the address of the seller on Amazon is not 08701.
It was satisfaction guaranteed. I wasn't satisfied. My team lost.
Okay. That's okay. That's a taina. Right? So you borrowed a guy's cow. You decide you get, and then you want to give it back. So or a sheep, and you let it. You hold on to it a couple of months, and then it grows the hair. You shave it. You keep the hair. Give back the sheep. Give out it. Right? Okay. Anyway, so that's what we're talking about. So we said yesterday that the machlokes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Between that and what you said, I don't, Baruch Hashem, I don't really know, but I think certain cars, if you chop them up, they're worth more than they were as a car, as the car, right?
That's what, they say that about, I think, some Hondas. Right. Something.
So you do that, so you chop it up, so it's a total shinui, and you make money on it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, exactly. Well, here I don't. Well, is it a shinoi? I guess.
Now it was a car. Now it's pieces of stuff. Now it's a transmission. It's whatever all the parts of a car are.
Wait, a shinoi only works one way if you have the parts and then you make it into a car. But if you take the car and you make it back into the parts, that's not a shinoi.
That's part of the.
It is a shinoi. That's what
could be. That's yesterday's daf. It's a shinoi.
It's going to be today's daf too. Right, that's a shinoi that can go back. Right, and what happens if it's worth less? Right, we discussed that a little bit yesterday. But what happens if the worth of the thing goes down? Right. So anyway, but we left off yesterday that there's different types of whitenings depending on how. If you do the whitening with chemicals, then that's a shinoi, right? But if you just comb it, then that's not a shinoi. So Now the Gemara asks, Hashta, we're a little bit more than halfway down. I don't know how many lines. It's like a lot of lines up in the. It's got to be 20 lines up in the bottom. So when it says Hashta Yesh Matzeva Reb Shimon Lo Yavi Shinui, you're saying that according to Reb Shimon, coloring it, if you actually color it, right, dyeing it, right, is not considered a shinui. Libun have a shinui. You just got finished saying that libun is a shinui. The Tanya gazas rishon b'tzava. So again, we said that when you're doing rashis agez, so the first five sheep. So if you can get a saw and how much was it again? A mana and a pras, right? Right. So we said, I think that's what we left off. Did we do this yesterday? We did do this. We didn't do this, right? So Gaz is rishon. So again, he has the first. You have the first 5 sheep, and you take a mana and a half of wool from each one. So then you give it to the kohen. But what happened was if he first shaves the first sheep, and then he dyes it. So now when he dyes it, that's a shinu. So that became his. So now you don't have 5 sheep anymore. So rishon b'tavu. So if he does each one, he shaves one, dyes it, then he shaves the second one, and then he dyes it, right? And then he spins it. Rishon v'argoin, or he takes and he weaves each one first. And mitzdarif, they're not mitzdarif, they don't combine because it was a shinu. So therefore, he didn't have all 5 sheep, and therefore he does not have to give the wool to a kohen. He says that if you did dye it, then it is mitzdarif. Right? So you see that Reb Shimon holds that dyeing wool is not considered a shinu. Right? So we said before that according to Reb Shimon, it's not mitzdarif. Right? Meaning making it white. So meaning if he holds that coloring it is not mitzdarif, then I'm sorry, Shimon says if you color it, it is mitzdarif. So certainly if you make it white, it's mitzdarif. Rabbi Lakasha, Rabbanon, leave the Reb Shimon, you go leave the Reb Shimon. Right? It's a machlokes and what Reb Shimon held. The Rabbanon held that Reb Shimon says that whitening and for sure dyeing is a shinui, and Reb Shimon Yehuda goes according to Reb Shimon, who says that it's not. Right? It's not considered a shinui. That's one teretz. Rabbi Amar, lo'elam le'pligi Rabbanon le Reb Shimon ben Yehuda. The Rabbanon not disagreeing with Reb Shimon Yehuda. Shani tzeva, dyeing is different. Since dye you can remove with tzafon. Tzafon is, I don't know what exact Rashi says, shine, meaning you can take chemicals and you can reverse the dye. So since you can reverse the dye, so it's not considered a shini. Right, but meaning if it's a dye that could be removed, so then that's not considered a shini because you could just take out the dye. But when we said by the case of Reishis Hagez that it's potter, that's talking about kala ilan. That's what's the name of that? It's dye from gallnuts, I think. Whatever it is, it doesn't come out, so it's permanent. So since it's permanent, that's considered a shinu. Right? Okay. So so bottom line is we have different shitas as to what's considered a shinu and not, dyeing, making it white, or if it's a super dye as opposed to regular dye that can be removed. Fine. Amar Abai, Reb Shimon ben Yehuda, Ubei Shammai, Reb Elazar ben Yaakov, Reb Shimon ben Elazar, Reb Yishmael, Kulu Svirul Hu Shinoi b'Makaymai Oimid. They all hold that a shinoi stays in its place. Right? Meaning, even though there's something different about this thing now, it does not change it. It's not considered a change, and Mamela, it stays in whoever owned it originally. Right? So we have a whole list of Tanaim here, this is what Abai is talking here. And he says we got a whole list of Tanaim who seemingly will disagree with our Mishnah, I think, right? Is going to disagree. We'll have to see in the Gemara exactly, but Pasha says it disagrees with our Mishnah. The Mishnah here is saying that if you do a change, if a change happens to the animal, a change happens to the wool, then the guy is kained, the crook is kained, whoever is kained. But here we're saying that these five hold not like that. So Reb Shimon ben Yehuda Hadamar, Reb Shimon ben Yehuda is what we just said, right? Because we said that when you dye the clothing, you dye the wool, right? They don't combine for Reishis Agez. So he clearly holds that dyeing wool doesn't mean anything. Beishami Maihi, and we had this a bunch of blood ago. Tanya Nasan Lachitin. So we know this is called Esnan Zaina, which is that if you're mezana with a woman and you pay her, that money can no longer be used to buy karbonos. And that's called Esnan Zaina. You can't do Mechir Keleb for selling a dog, and Esnan Zaina you can't use for karbonos. So Beishamai says Nasan Lachitin. Let's say he gives the Zaina wheat as the payment. He gives her wheat for a son Silas, and then it was made into flour. Zaysim, if he gave her olives, the son shemen, and they were made into oil, which is a shinui, right? That's different than when it was given to the Zaina. So anave vason yayin, or grapes, and they're made into wine. So tani chada, we have one brayso that says aser. You cannot give it to the Beis Hamikdash because it's considered Esnan Zaina, but Taniyidach, we learned another brayso mutter. It's mutter because it's a new entity. It's not the original entity. Yes, an entity when it started was from a Zaina, right? It was payment for a Zaina, but now it's a total different entity. Rav Yosef, Tani Gurian, the Antamid Aleph now, Gurian de Maspurak, Peshamay Oisim Vesil Matirin. So he held that Peshamay says Asur, meaning that he holds that it's not considered a new entity, and therefore you're not allowed to give it to Beis Hamikdash. And Beisilo says it's mutter. My time at the Beis Shammai. Why does Beis Shammai hold that it's also Amar Kro Gam Shnehem? Right? It says also both of them. What is the Gam? The Rabbi Shinu Yayim. So we're saying that it's coming to include even if you change the item. If a change happens to the item, it's still considered like Esnan Zayin. Beisilo Amar Kro Haim. It says them v'loy shinuyim. It means only the things that were given for this nus and not the shinu. Beis Shammai hoksiv haim. What's Beis Shammai going to do with the word haim? It means them and not their children. Meaning, if a cow is given to a zaina and then that cow has a baby, that baby can be used for, now that we're talking about if the cow was pregnant. I don't think there's a chiddush if the cow had a baby afterwards, meaning it got pregnant and had a baby afterwards, that there's any tzad that you wouldn't be able to use it. I'm talking about even if it's pregnant, it's not considered part of the body. I think so. Right? Beis Hillel, what is Beis Hillel going to do with that? Karti Shamas me. He says he can learn out two things. Haim v'loy shinuyayim, haim v'loy v'lodisayim. We can learn out two things from him. Beis Hillel nami hoksiv gam. What's Beis Hillel going to do with the word gam? Like Beis Shammai darshans. Gam the Beis Hillel kasha. It's a kasha on Beis Hillel. Okay, so that one's pretty straightforward. You see that according to Beis Shammai, a shinui is not considered a change, and that's why you're not allowed to give. If you gave a zaina wheat and you made it into flour, you still can't give it to the Beis Hamikdash. The same thing for grapes made into wine and olives made into oil. So that's Shita number one. Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov Mahi. Now the Gemara number base is going to discuss a lot of Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov. So Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov Mahi. So Tani, Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov, Amar Haresha Gazal saw Shachita. I'm sorry, not Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov. What?
What about money converted into a product? It's definitely not the same thing. Flour is not $100 bill.
You're saying if you give the Zaina cash, and then she goes and buys, let's say, an earring, and then if she wants to give the earring, that's a chalipin for the Esnan Zaina. I don't know. I would think that that's a different entity, a totally different entity. Here, wheat and flour is
that's
the
what
same.
I'm saying. That is, yeah.
Oh, you're right. I hear what you're saying. Right? Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov. The Tanya of Elazar and Yaakov. I'm a Reisha Gozel saw Shochet. Somebody steals a saw of wheat. Tachana, he grinds it up. Lasha, he kneads it. The Alpha, he bakes it. Vifish Mimena Chala, and he separates Chala, right? The chur, it's out of order, right? It's not the order that you normally do it in. You grind it, you knead it, then you take off challah, then you bake it. Right? So
There's a store there.
that's a Rebbe Kiva, but
Making a bracha on the stolen thing that he's making a separating challah on.
that's exactly what we're going to discuss, right? That's
The wise guy here, David.
So Tosfos, the top Tosfos discusses the order, saying Meshaz Gilgul Mischayev B'Challah. Really, once it's rolled, right? Once it's made into dough, it's chayav and challah, right? But there's a chiddush that even though you did all these shinuyim, you still only don't be making these brachas because you're making fun of Hashem by stealing, and then
And after you bake it, that's not making fun of Hashem?
it is, but that's what the Gemara is saying. It's a chiddush, even though you did it totally different than when it's supposed to be done. Afilu hachi, don't make it, right? But anyways, so again, he stole the wheat and he made himself a nice challah, and then he separated the challah. So ketzim avarach, ain't avarach elamanotz. This is how can he make a bracha? He's not making a bracha. Elamanotz. He's making fun of Hashem, or I don't know if making fun. It's even more than that. It's in his face. Right?
But you told me the guy owns it now, so
no. So that's what we're saying. It's a raya that Rabbi Elazar Yaakov holds that making a shinui is not a shinui, and that's why he holds you can't make a bracha.
so the other one say you could make a bracha.
Yes, we're going to get to it.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, we're going to get to it further down. Right? Yeah, we'd say you could make a bracha. That's number 2. Reb Shimon ben Elazar, Ma'hi the Tani Klaus, Reb Shimon ben Elazar, Kol Shvach Sheshvi of Gazlan. Any improvements that happens that the Gazlan made it improve, right? Which we've had before, which is that he steals the guy's cow and he stuffs it up. Yod al El Yoina. So then his yad is on the El Yoina, meaning the Gazlan has the upper hand. Ratza Noitel Shvacha, if he wants, he could take the improvements that he put into the cow. If he wants, he could tell the guy he stole it from, it's yours. So Gemara says, my Kamma, what's going on here? It doesn't make sense. Why would you say what's yours, take what's yours if it actually got better? Normally when the terminology of take what's yours is when the thing goes down. Right? And you tell the guy, I stole your cow, it was worth $1,000. Now it's only worth $500. You tell the guy, here, take what's yours. Right? So it doesn't make sense, the lashon. So let's see what the Gemara is saying. If the price goes up, then the crook could take it. Kichesh, if it goes down, if it goes, not the price goes down, but the worth of it, not the worth. It gets decayed, whatever. Something goes wrong with the cow. Now it's less. It got thinner, let's call it that. Because we hold that the shinui stays in its place. Right? And Mela, since the shinui stays in its place, you just give back, even though when he stole the cow, it weighed 1,000 pounds, and now it went down to 800 pounds. Right? So you think there's some sort of shinui in it. So no, he could just give it back. So if that's the case, you can't have it both ways. Meaning, either you give back the cow, whether it improved or didn't improve, it went the other way around, or not. You can't say both. So no, we're going to let him keep it. If the price of the animal goes up, we're going to let him keep it. Why? Because if you're going to make him get rid of it, then he's not going to do tshuva. He's not going to do tshuva. So in order to get him to do tshuva, we actually let him keep things, which again is a very difficult concept to understand, right? Because why is it so important to have the guy do tshuva? And that's maybe he's going to improve. But we'll see more about that later. Fine. Rabbi Shmuel, what's Rabbi Shmuel? So this is mamash what we're learning in Mishnah. It's Tanya, mitzvahs payah lahabash min Kamma. So, like we've been saying in Mishnayos, the mitzvah of peah is to separate when it's still in its stalk, right? When it's still attached to the ground. Lo yifish min hakama, but let's say you didn't separate it from then. Mafish min ha'umrim. So then you do it from when it's umrim, when it's you take it, you cut it down, you bundle it together. Lo yifish min ha'umrim, mafish min hakri, from where it gets piled up in the silos. Ad shaloi marfu, up until it didn't get smoothed out, until it gets in it, up until its final process of maricha, you're allowed to take off peah. And then by definition, when you take off peah, there's no trumas and maises taken off, because peah is similar to hefker. Something that's hefker doesn't have trumas and maises taken off. So since peah is meant for aniyim, and it's hefker for anybody to take it, so therefore there's no trumas and maises up until maricha. But marchu, once it's in the pile, then he decides, oh, I forgot to give peah. Then maiser v'noisin, then he first has to take off the trumas and the maises, and then he can give the peah to aniyim. That's the first sheet. You can even separate from isa, from when it's dough, and give it to him. I mean, you still have to be mafresh even from when it's dough, and you would not have to give chumas and maises. Right? So what do you see from Rabbi Shmuel? That even though it changed, really you're supposed to be giving peah from stalks, and then the stalks were cut down, etc., etc. Now you even made it dough. He's still saying it still has its original status, even though there was a shinu. Right? Fine. So those are all the five Tanoim who seem to say that a change doesn't mean anything. Some of the Rapabal Abaya, Ichbul Kol Hani Tanoi Lashminu to Beishamai. Are we teaching all these Tanoim in order to say like Beishamai? We know we don't pass like Beishamai. So you're trying to make a tircha, you're trying to be matriach yourself to collect shitas that are all like Beishamai. He says, no, this is what they're saying. Like Nefluku Beishamai, it's a little bit over there. They're not going like Beishamai. They're not going like who was it? Me'aspurk. Gurion from Aspurk is the one that said it was a machlokes Beishamai Yisrael. Abai is saying no, it's not. All these Tanaim are saying it's not a machlokes Beishamai Yisrael. Beishamai Yisrael both agree. Beishamai Yisrael both agree that shinoi is not a shinoi, doesn't mean anything. All right, so my Rava, Rava says, Mimai, how do you know? Maybe each one of them has a specific reason in their case why they hold a shino is not a shino. Right? Maybe they each one have their own specific reason. So Omar Rava, Mimai, Duma Adkan like Reb Shimon ben Yehuda Hasam Ella B'Tzeva. That's only by dye. Like we said, maybe dye is not considered a shinui because you could remove the dye very easily. Maybe there, because we're talking about giving money to the Beis Hamikdash, so mishum di'emayis, it's disgusting. So since it's disgusting, even though it's a different entity, when you take it from grain, from wheat, and you make it into flour, it's a different entity, but we're not going to, for Benegay to Hektish, we're not going to give that to Hektish. Right, but the only reason why Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov said that it's not changed is because he didn't want you to make a bracha. Why should you make a bracha with stolen property? Even you stole the flour, even though you baked it and you made it into a total different thing, but not to make a bracha. We don't want you making a bracha on that. All right? You're not
making a bracha on the challah, and then you're not making a bracha when you eat it either?
Yeah, don't make a bracha because it's stolen.
Don't make any brachas. Until when?
And you don't make brachas on it. It's stolen.
No, I'm saying on this specific item. And if I go eat an apple, then I make a bracha?
If you steal an apple, you don't make a bracha on it. Yeah.
No, not if I steal an apple. I have the challah in my hand and I have an apple in my hand. So the challah I stole, so that I'm not making a bracha on. But the apple that I didn't steal, that I'm making a bracha on?
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Okay. I don't know.
Or you're saying because the guy is puzzle himself?
I don't know if we're saying that it's an embarrassment or whatever. So maybe he shouldn't be making brachas right now.
No, it's not a psul in the gaver, it's a psul in the chefza.
Okay.
Right.
That would be answer. I was going to ask you, Yaakov. That is my. I asked Shmuel this morning. A kiddush club. The Rav says you can't have a kiddush club, and have a kiddush club. Can you guys make brachas on the food?
That's a good question. Certainly, if they're taking the food from the shul, I would say not. No. The chayra. It's taka. Now that you mention it, so like with these yeshivas who say that if you have a cell phone in yeshiva, even a flip phone, you eat from yeshiva, you're a ganav. Right? I get this text Amol from Bachman. Does a yeshiva have a right to say that? I said l'chayra they don't have a right to say that. You pay tuition. Yeah, you pay tuition. L'chayra you're entitled to eat. Now they could say, well, what do you mean? We told you have to meet the qualifications of being here. Right?
What does yeshiva say?
If you have a cell phone in yeshiva,
Yeah, but then we wonder why Mashiach's not here yet. Then we wonder.
yeah.
It's because of the cell phones. That's right. Yeah.
Right, clearly.
Or it's because of the yeshiva's rules.
Correct. No, listen, I'm not saying it's so clear cut, but yeah.
No, the rules mean that the yeshiva has a right to kick him out. They don't have a right not to feed him.
Look, they at least have to give him back his tuition if they say that.
Yeah, kick him out and give him back his tuition.
Yeah.
Not anything else they can do. The reason they don't do that is because the guy with the phone is the only one who pays the full tuition.
Anyway, so the point is, I don't know if you make a bracha on that food or not. I don't know. But tray food also. Actually, there was a shaila. What was the shaila? Where do we have that shaila? Somebody asked it to me.
So wasn't it asked the night of Yehuda? Someone who's a Suffolk Nefashis on Yom Kippur and they give him chazer. Does he make a bracha?
Yeah, you do make a bracha if it's
Yeah.
no. This was the shaila was like, oh no, the shaila was, oh no, it was in one of the papers, and one of the shaila was that a guy's becoming frum, but he can't give up his ham. He can't give up his ham. So he's making a ham sandwich. So should he make a bracha hamoitzi on the bread? Because that's not awesome. The ham.
Only if he's making on past his straw.
Right. So should you give it? Should
Yeah, but he couldn't get it because he doesn't use that Eruv, so he ended up.
Oh, very good, Amar.
Whatever. So that's what the Gemara is saying. That for even though normally we would say yes, it changed, but because we're talking about a bracha, so we're going to be machmer that it didn't change. Right. Then the last one, there it says by pay, it says an extra tazo that you should leave it. Right. So maybe why do you have an extra azov tazo? So it's telling you that even if the thing changed, it's still not a problem. Meaning it's not a problem. Meaning even if it changed, you still have to give off payah. But normally, if it changed, it's a new entity. So Gemara has
sounds like is the maskana that shinoi is kaina, but in all of these 5 things, there's a reason, even though he's kaina.
Correct.
That yeah. So still weiter Beis Shammai. The whole shinoi kaina or shinoi eina kaina? We just gave a reason to say Beis Shammai is eina kaina.
Correct. We're trying. He's saying Efshef Fakir. This is your classic Efshef Fakir. Yeshiva Shalim. Maybe they all say that Shina is kind of, but each one in their individual case has a reason why Shina is not kind of. Yeah.
So Abaya holds the Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel both hold Shina eina kaina. Rava goes and says everyone holds Shina kaina.
Exactly.
But even so, okay.
Yes. Yeah. That's the way I understand it. So anyway, so now the Gemara is saying, so it says Taza. We say, Why don't we learn out as a mamatzinu, right? Learn it out. I'm saying opinion out from Peya. Since Peya Shinui is not considered a Shinui, because we learned it from the word Tazai, so matnes, so therefore everything else should also go. So when it says matnes aniyim shani, we're gonna say matnes aniyim is different, right? So, like, what does that mean? The Bayr of Yochanan, the Bayr of Yonason, I'm sorry. The Bayr of Yonason, my time, the Rabbi Shmuel, Mishum de Kasava Shinui Eina Koina. What's the reason for Rabbi Shmuel? Does he hold that the reason why you still have to take off Peya even after you made it into dough is because Shina is not Koina? Or do we say, no, really, all Shina is Koina? Right? Maybe because it says an extra word, Tazoi. So therefore, it's coming to tell you that this Peya even from a Shina. So I ask, and if you're going to say that the reason for Rabbi Shmuel is Taka because Shina is not Koina, Taze Yisrael, because of Rahman Lamali, why do you need the extra Taze for? The Su, the Rabbanon, and according to the Rabbanon, who are Chaylik on Rabbi Shmuel, and hold that there's no Peya from dough, Taze Yisrael, because of Rahman Lamali. What do we need the whole Taze Yisrael for? Well, it says, Tanya, a mafker Kamma is somebody who makes his vineyard hefker. The Hishkim, like, he's pulling a scam. Normally, when you make something hefker, so there's no more chumas and mices on it anymore. But this guy was mafker at night after everybody went to sleep. Right, 1 o'clock in the morning, he's mafker his vineyard. The next morning, he goes and he's kainid back. So now he wants to be potter. Right, so mafker Kamma, the Hishkim lebaikir ubatzer, and then he gets up in the morning and he harvests it. Chayev beperet ubeoilelus ubeshikcha bepeya. He's chayev in all those 4. Because since he owned the land and now he's recoined, so he has to pay all of that. But he's potter min a meiser. He's potter from meiser. That's what we learned the word tazoi. That tazoi will tell you that however the technicals work, tazoi will tell us that he's potter. So bottom line is we don't have a reason. We can't learn out from tazoi to anything else. Bottom line is that we have machlokes Abaye and Rava, whether everybody agrees that a Shina is kinda. Abaye holds everybody saying that a Shina is kinda, Bisham and Basil and the other Tanaim, and Rava holds that everybody holds a Shina is kinda. All right, that's what comes out. It's fine. So I'm Rabbi Yehuda Amar Shmuel. Allah Rav Shimon and Elazar. Allah is like Rav Shimon and Elazar, that if the animal deteriorates, he can give back the animal to the owner. The crook can give back the animal to the owner, and that's it. He's not responsible for anything. Right? Now the question is, does he mean, and what happens if it goes up? So that's a whole shayla. But let's see. So Miyom Shmuel, Hachi, did Shmuel really say that Allah is like Shimon and Elazar? Barma Shmuel, Ain Shaman, Loyla Ganav, Loyla Gazlan, Elan Izakan. We only evaluate for damage, but for Ganav and a Gazlan, we don't evaluate. Meaning, we had this way back in the beginning of the Masechta. If one shor gores another shor, and the shor that was dead is worth 100, but its carcass is worth a decent amount of money, so it's worth 50. So you have to pay for your damages. You have to pay 50. You don't have to pay 100, right? That only goes by Nazikin. But for Ganav and Gazlan, we don't evaluate. You just have to pay back what you stole. So l'chayr, that's a stira. We just got finished saying that Shmuel says that now that halach is like Shimon ben Elazar, that the improvements and whatever the improvements or the what do you call? I don't even know how to say it. That if it goes down, he's not responsible for it. The Ganav, and here we're saying that the depreciation, very good, yeah. So, and here Shmuel's saying that there's no evaluations for Ganav and Gazlan, right? You have to pay it back what you stole. So it's a stira. So now the Gemara says it depends. Bishalom of the Rava. Now Rava again held that everybody holds that a shinui is kaina, right? And each one had their reasons why in that particular case they hold it's not kaina. He's talking about, we could say over there that Rav Shimon Elazar is talking about with a hakchasha that's going to come back, meaning it lost a few pounds, the cow, so now it's worth a few less dollars, but you'll feed it and it'll go right back where it was. So like Kasha, when did he say that the shina stays in its place? That's where it's depreciated, but it's gonna or deteriorated. It's gonna go back up. Chikam Shmuel Hasan. When the Shmuel say his din ain't shaman loylaganav loylagazan elam nizakin, that you don't evaluate for nagav and nagazan. He just has to pay back the worth of the animal that it was when he stole it. And the only time we evaluate is for damage. That's talking about where it went down and it's never going to come back. And Rashi says it either died or it broke a leg and it's never going to get healed. So therefore, we can according to the way Rava understands Pshat, we can give an answer to the stira. We would say one place is talking about where the decay is going to come back, and the other ones where it's not going to come back. Fine, but where he's talking about even in a hakchasha, even if it went down, and even when it's not going to come back, Abaya held that Rosh Hashanah says you just give back the animal what it's worth. Then, how are you going to answer the stira? So Gemara answers, Abaya Masni Hachi. Abaya learns it this way. Amr Rav Yehuda Amar Shmuel on Talmud Beis now. Amru halacha Rav Shimon ben Elazar. They say, this is what Shmuel is saying. They say the halacha is like Rav Shimon ben Elazar. The lay loy svira lay, but he Shmuel does not hold of this. Right? That would be Abaya's version of the Gemara. So there's no stira because Shmuel really doesn't hold of it. All right, I'm just switching devices. Sorry. So anyway, so that's how he's answering the stira. Fine. Omar Abchia, where am I? That's fine. Omar, yeah. So Omar Abchia bar Abba, Omar Rav Yochanan. Dvar Torah, Mina Torah, Gezela hanishtanis chayzeres ba'enei. A gezela that changed goes back the way it is. Shenemar v'hashiv es gezela asher gazel mikol makom. It says you have to give back the gezela. Gershon was saying this last night. It says v'hashiv es gezela asher gazel. You have to give the gezela that you stole. Mikol makom means any way it is, meaning whether it goes up, whether it goes down. You stole a cow. Who cares how much the cow is worth now? You give back the cow. And if you're going to say Mishnah Seina, what about our Mishnah? Our Mishnah doesn't say that, right? Our Mishnah says that you can give back if you guys stole, right? And he took wool and he made it into clothing, or he took wood and he made it into a utensil, whatever it is. He pays how much the wood or the wool was worth, and the rest he gets to keep. Same time Mishnah Seinu, so he's saying Mishum Takonas Hashavim. The reason why our Mishnah said that you're allowed to, that he only pays back what it was worth when he stole it, is because otherwise they're not going to do tshuva, right? So Mamela, he's not going to do tshuva, so we want him to do tshuva, right? So that's fine. Now, is it whenever time it says takonas hashavim, does that mean because we want him to do tshuva, or we want the guy that got stolen to at least recoup some of his loss?
There's two different takanas. The next parak calls this takana takanas marish.
Right.
So this takanas hashavim is both. One's takanas marish.
I don't know. They don't interchange the two terminologies.
Yeah, they're both called takanas hashavim.
Right. So I'm saying, I don't know if the two are mutually exclusive from each other or not.
Well, no, it could be one takana. We want we want the guy to do tshuva. We also want the original owner to get his money back. So whichever way
I used to think it was that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I don't know. Whatever it is, it's from here. It sounds like you want here. Takanas hashavim sounds like to do tshuva, I think, but I'm not sure. Anyway, so Gemara says, "Umi Rav Yochanan, the Rav Yochanan say this. Rav Yochanan, halacha kastam Mishnah. Rav Yochanan says halacha is always like stam Mishnah. V'tnan, we learned in the Mishnah, lo hispik litnei lo achet savu koter. If he was not able to, again, this is going back to the Reishis Hagez, right? That you have to give the kohen 7.5 saw worth of wool from 5 different animals, and if he died each one before it combined, so then he's kained, and he doesn't go to the kain, right? So then we say he's potter. Now Rabbi Yochanan is saying that the shina unit changes it. So how can Rabbi Yochanan say that when you do a shina in a gezela or a geneva, you give it back? So you give it back the way it is. I have pshan Rabbi Yochanan. Somewhere where he actually stole finished wood, basan kalim, and he made them into utensils. The havali shinoi hachayzel libriyasai. That's a shinoi that can go back to what it was. Right? So since it's a shinoi that could theoretically go back to the way it was, so then mamela, we're going to say that you that's where you give back the price of what it was when it was stolen, right? But then we have the Takonas Hashavim, and then you have the Takonas Hashavim. No? Yeah. Fine. You good, Gershon? Or are you shaking your head over there? Okay. Fine. Torah Very interesting Gemara here. Hagazlanin umalve beribis shirziru. So a gazlan and somebody who lends in ribis and they give it back. I mean, a guy's a crook and he wants to give it back, or a guy lent beribis and he wants to give it back. You should not take the money back from them, right? This is mamish. This is how, this is a classic example of our das totally being different than the das of the Gemara, right? So right now, if you are Makava, what do I leave off?
What is this case? He's a loan shark. He stole money, and now he lends the money on Rivers. And then he gives back the money to the guy he stole it from, but he made 50% on his money. Is that what we're talking about? He stole money and then he loaned it.
No, it's two different cases. Hagazlanim, umalve beribis, and those who lend beribis. Not someone who steals. It's not one case. It's two different kinds of people.
Okay.
What are you saying, Rachamim?
I'm not saying like Gershon.
Right.
I hear that, but
He was asking if this is one case. Hagazlan and umalve beribis. Those who steal and then lend that money to ribis.
Oh, you want to learn it as one case?
Yeah, he wanted to say that. Yeah.
I'm not learning. I just looking at it. I didn't even look at Rashi. I just reading the words. I'm thinking that's what it might have meant. That's why I asked. What's going on here?
The term would say Hagazlanin v'lavu beribis. Malve beribis are different people.
Well, the question is the vav and or, right?
It still would have changed it. It would have said v'lavu beribis if it would mean and. It's the wrong way to say it.
Okay, I hear that. Anyway, so the pashup shot is that it's two different things: a gazlanin and somebody who lends beribis, and they want to give it back. They feel bad. Ain makalim, don't take it back from them. And if you are makalim, ain ruach chamam the ruach chachamim are not going to rest with him. That's a literal translation. There's a Rashi here that says ain ruach chachamim v'chasidus bekirbai. Right? For the chassidim amongst us, I don't know what you do with that Rashi there. Rabbi Akiva Eiger seems to be Aymer on it, right? The Chassidus.
So the guys should just accept the loss.
Yes, that's what it seems. Yeah, it's wild. It's wild. You accept the loss, right? Take one for the team, as they say, Now we're going to see the Taisus in a minute, but why is this? So let's see. Some of Yochanan be made Rebbe Nishnas Nishazu. This Mishnah was taught in the days of Rebbe. The Tanya Ma'aseh Adam Echad Shebikesh Lasis Tshuva. There's a story where a guy wanted to do tshuva. Amrle Ishta Reika, you empty person. Imata Oisa Tshuva. If you're going to do tshuva, you're such a crook. Afilu Avnei Teina Shalcha. Even the belt that you have, you're such a crook. You're not going to walk around undressed because you have nothing. But Nimna, because his wife told him that, he said, okay, so then if I have nothing, well, I also tshuva, he didn't do tshuva. So because of that story, that they want to give it back. So because of this one story, so Memela, they said nobody is allowed to take money back from Kazlanim. So Taisus, in the second Taisus down, so I mean, there's a lot of kashas because you see that people do take back a stolen property. So what's pshat? So Rabbeinu Tam says that this was a takana strictly for Rebbe's generation, and that's it. Right? It's a fascinating thing. I mean, where do we see that? Right? I mean, where do we ever see that? The Gemara brings a story. And the Gemara brings a psak, and then Taisus says that was only for their generation, and that's it. Right? It's sort of like the Chazanish Matters Cholov Stam. Right? He says it straight out. Cholov from the Pikuach and Memshala's mutter. And all the Paiskim of Bnei Brak say he meant it for that generation, that's it, in 48. He meant it in 48 when they were in the war. After that, it wasn't meant. So that's essentially what Taisus is saying here too. This heter, to not, or heter, I don't know if it's an isser, heter, whatever it is, isser, to take money back from a crook was only in Rebbe's times. Okay, that's the way Taisus understands it.
Times that you know it's Negeya. And it might be Negeya also.
You mean we have to decide?
I've had it on a very, very small scale in a camp I was part of. A kid stole something else from another kid, a snack or something. So the other kid was really upset. You saw the mice of the kid who stole it had nothing. His clothing was beat down, his sneaker, nothing. He mamish didn't have anything. So I told the other kid, look, you could get mad about it, could get it back, or you could look at the other kid and say, look, the kid doesn't have anything to eat in his home, doesn't have clothing, doesn't have anything. Let it go. That's what Rashi says, the Ruach Chachma v'Chasidus. You have to be smart.
Okay, maybe that's what you want to say. That's what Rashi means. Okay, it's a good word. Okay. Anyway, so that's the Gemara saying, that it was like a temporary. Toys is saying that it was a temporary thing. So the father left them over money from ribbis, right?
My brother-in-law, my wife's older brother, somebody ripped him off for a lot of bucks. He went to Reb Shloim, he spoke to Reb Shloim, and then he ended up not suing the guy for the money because they didn't want to chap with Almana and the kids because there wouldn't have been nothing. If he'd gotten his money back, there would have been nothing for Almana and the kid. Well, not that she wasn't Almana. She was Almana for the wife and the kids. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Husband was a creep. Never.
Wow, that's pretty good. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
See, I would say that's Ruach Chachma v'Chasidus.
Sure sounds like Chassidus to me, let me tell you. Yeah. So anyway, so here's a similar case. Guys out of Yerusha, and then it comes out that the father made all his money in how do you call it? What's it called?
Hard money.
Hard money loans, right? And hard money loans to Yidden without after risk. Yeah. So the father left them hard money loans. Avapi shehin yoidin shein ribis. Even though they know it was ribis, ain't chayam lahachse. They're not mechuyev. The kids are not mechuyev to give the money back, right? Inu said, "What's the kasha?" Say inu who delights mashma. The kids don't have to give it back. Ha'aviyam, but if the father would have been alive, chayiv lahachse, you'd have to give it back. So didn't we just say that that you don't give back ribis so that people could do tshuva, right? So when it says, "Bedin who daviyam nami and chayav," so no, the father doesn't have to give back either. So why are you talking about the kids? Because there's a different case in the sefer and they want it to be aligned. If the father left for them a para and a talis in any specific thing that everybody knows was stolen, right? The father ripped off a guy's car, fancy car, and he's driving around town. Everybody knows that the father ripped off the car. So that it's just they're mechuyev to give it back simply because it's not bakavadik that the father died, and these kids are driving around the father's stolen car. So that case it says in the Sefer. So since in the Sefer it's talking about the kids, so the Reisha too. So Tani Reisha now maybe the two. It also says the two.
Father's dead. Is this Brakara Davua?
No, I think it's no. There's an Indian to have covered achar misa.
That's Brakara Davua. That's that din. So the neshama, it's covered for the neshama of Aviyah.
I don't know why you're saying it's brakara davua.
The father's dead. He's not getting any covered here.
No, I understand, but there still is a concept of being mechabed him having nothing to do with brakara davua, I think.
Isn't that Hainuach? It's being mechabed the neshama. It's giving
no, you're being mechabed a kid because of his father.
So the kid's getting covered by returning it?
No, the father, it's just a bizayon that the father, the memory of the father that everybody has is that he has a stolen property.
It's cleaning up the father's act. The father, I mean, everyone knew until now. Until the father died, the father was driving around the Ferrari that he stole.
Right.
Now all of a sudden, returning it is covered. The father was mavaza himself with it.
Correct. Correct, but I guess it's continuing the bizayon. Continuing the bizayon, maybe. That's why I understood it. Anyway, so since the Sefer is talking about...
We just learned it in the last 6 in Yisrael. Pachad av and avos, alabandim, alishlimim and alarvim. So the kid's running around with the same behavior that the father has. So you know, so it's better to give back the car then.
Yeah.
You shouldn't keep the same behavior.
Isn't that what they put on the caver, like perpetual care? This like perpetuating the Geneva.
Not the same there. The sons are not being ganavim or gazlanim.
No, but it's smacks bad. That car smacks bad. You
That's
know,
not
it was bad enough
al-Shalation
the father
Val-Rebbeim
was running
R'Sayna.
around with that car, but now the kid's running around the car. It smacks bad. It just smacks.
Yeah. That's not pshat in al-Shalation Val-Rebbeim R'Sayna.
Okay, whatever. Anyways, that's a little late. It's a little late. Yeah. So anyways, so then it says Mepnei Kvoid Avim Chayam Lahachser. That's not your kasha, Gershon. This is not your kasha. The Gemara is saying, right, because of the covet of the father, you have to give it back. Ikri Khan, maybe it is your kasha a little bit. V'nosi ba'amcha loy sar. It says you're not allowed to curse a nasi from your nation. But it has to be somebody it has to be a nasi who does the maisim of your nation. Meaning, if the guy is not keeping halacha, so then he's not considered part of your nation. Right? This comes up a lot. This comes up a lot with lashon hara. Has it also a list of lashon hara on somebody who's not part of your nation and all that. Right. Yeah. So the Gemara is saying, so why does they have to respect the father? Why do you got to show respect to the father? The father wasn't an Er L'Chiyid. You want to answer the Damar Rav Pinchas v'shasa tshuva. So Rav Pinchas is talking about a different sugi in Chagiga. So that's talking about by a guy that's a Ganav. So he says it's talking about what he did tshuva. So Hachanai Rosh tshuva, the father did tshuva. Okay, so if he did tshuva, he also tshuva my boy gabei. If he did tshuva, so why does he have it by him? Right? He should have given it back. Right? Which there's an obvious question on this. So the Gemara answers, he wasn't able to give it back until he died. Now, what is the Gemara, right? So what's the Gemara asking? That he should have returned it. Maybe the guy he returned it to says, what do you mean? You just told me I'm not allowed to take it back. Right? Didn't we just learn you're not allowed to take it back? Right? So what's the Gemara saying? Oh, the guy did tshuva. So we ask him, the guy did tshuva, why didn't he give it back? Well, he didn't give it back. He tried to give it back, but the guy said, no, I'm not allowed to take it back. Otherwise, you might not do tshuva, right? That's Taisus Kasha. That's Taisus Kasha on the bottom Taisus. Right? Now, the question is, what is Taisus' answer? right? Oh yeah, Taisa says that it wouldn't be a bazayan anymore if he tried to give it back. If he tried to give it back, and the Olam knew that it was given back, then it's what do you call? Then it would be a bazayan. Then it wouldn't be a bazayan. Okay, let's do a few more lines. Tashima. So crooks and people that remember there was even though they collected, they give it back. Kazlonen, what does it mean? What does it mean a crook is collecting things? Gazlonen Maishigavu Ika. What are they collecting? Guzzle. If they're stolen, it's stolen. Ila guzzle, like guzzle. Elaim Hagazlonen, it means Hagazlonen my nihu malvi ribis. This is like Rachman was saying before. It means Gazlonim. And the Gemara is referring to Gazlan as Malvi Ribis as Gazlanim. Avishagovu, even though they already collected their ribis, they have to give it back. Right? So you see that you give it back. They gave it back, but they weren't makabalim. Elalama mafsirin. Right? So then why are they trying to give it back again? Lots of they shemayim. No, they want to be yotzei b'dei shemayim, that they try it. Right? So therefore, it's not a problem. Okay, it's a little late, so I guess we'll stop here. We'll stop over here. I wanted to get to 2 dots, but yeah.